All right, everybody, welcome back to, I have Chapter 13 of Legend of the Five Rings, Beyond Love and Grief. It's been a minute since we've played, so everybody, welcome back. It's been hard going at Blades and Blasters, but we've made it through, and hopefully we can all relax and play some make-believe tonight. And so, to start with, as I want to do, an introduction. And please ask questions because it's been a long time since we played. In the early morning, Kitsuki Ketsu, that was one of those Shugenja, by the way, guys, opened her eyes. She had not slept, yet she was refreshed. She looked upwards at a shrine of her ancestors. "We will not fail you," she said. But then a clatter outside. Nothing. The wind. She closed her eyes again and meditated. She floated on the void and felt her wounds knit themselves as of their own accord. But then there was a shout. The sounds of blades slashing through the air, then finding flesh, then a cry of pain. Her eyes opened again. Ketsu rose. She strode a few paces, calling out, "Fane-sama? Mirumoto Fane? Fane-sama?" No reply. Sneering, Kitsuki Ketsu tightened her obi and went outside. She covered her mouth and cried. Stepping forth into the dawn, Kitsuki Ketsu stood with her mouth agape. A porcelain hand covered ruby lips as she stepped to her right, circling the slain form of Mirumoto Fane beneath a cherry blossom tree. She lifted the hem of her kimono so as not to soil it with dark, congealed blood, and uttered a curse unto the kami. "Whoever has done this will meet a fate worse than death." Then she looked to the sky. The sun was just crowning the peaks to the east that encircled Shao-King. She dashed out of the gate of the Inogami estate. She sprinted through fields of vines and then met the road that led past the Temple Jin. With speed that would not relent, to the anguish of Ketsu's burning lungs, she continued to run. She passed Peak Pond on her right until Twin Peak Palace, the seat of power in Shao-King, loomed before her. Tears in her eyes, she sprinted past the guards. She cried not for the daimyo, but for his wife-to-be. "Rin! Rin! Inogami Rin domo! Inogami Rin! I have news I must bring to Inogami Rin!" Now, we return to the Palace of Pleasure. All right, everybody's sight okay?
Yeah, I think
I'm on the main map.
Oh, I didn't move you. There we go. So, as you flee the Inogami estate, you, just like the Shugenja, run through the fields of vines, passing the lake on your right, and then run towards the central mountains that jut from the middle of Shao-King, finding again the main thoroughfare. The sun is just coming over the tops of the mountains, starting to illumine the face of the Palace of Pleasure. Many of you are injured, out of breath, perhaps terrified from your encounter with the tainted thing that you met in the cellar of the Inogami estate. And as you approach the Palace of Pleasure, you see kind of men and women kind of filtering out into the early morning light. They stumble forward, kind of putting their forearms over their eyes. "Oi! Too much sake! Oh, where did the night go?" And as you approach, one of the Geisha or attendants is kind of kicking them out. Go home, you dogs! Sleep it off! Come back tomorrow with more coin!" And she starts sweeping the stoop there in front of the establishment. Don't all talk at once.
I mean, yeah, Hisoka's at the back. I mean, I'm pretty sure he hasn't been talking much at all. Hibiki wasn't keen on it originally.
Yeah,
Hibiki. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Hibiki looks to both Shimizu and Hidetaka. Says, "Is this where we are meeting the allies you have acquired?"
Yes. I expect them to come back tomorrow morning. But I suggest for now we try to get some rest and collect our thoughts for what we must do going forward.
I would see if I can ask the kami to see if they can give me advice on how we can proceed.
And let us see if we can procure lodging. Do not know if they will allow us all in the estate at this hour.
We must do so quietly. We do not want to give these evil people our knowledge of our location.
Unfortunately, Shimizu-sama, that may be difficult to do with your busting.
I believe I will keep my... Well, I did not know it was the case before we came in. I cannot help I am known all the way in Shao-King.
The fault is not yours. It belongs to our foes. Approach the Geisha. Pardon me.
Hey, she's not looking in your direction, sweeping the stoop. I say, go away, you dogs! Come back in the evening, when you are more sober! She turns to you. Huh? And she looks at each of you. Who's the most injured? Hisoka, it looks like.
No,
Oh.
Hibiki, surely.
Well, she had, I think, 15.
Yeah,
on her.
15, and
Oh, I don't have
Tsurugi-
15. I don't have 15 left. I had 15 on me.
15 wounds.
Oh!
Tsurugi has
Hisoka
25
is
wounds.
important,
Yeah. Oh no! What has happened to you? And you see Jisella kind of walks out. She's having what would be the equivalent of a cigarette outside.
A cigarillo.
Yeah, they have those long fucking things that they smoke them on.
Yeah. One of those.
I don't know what the hell those are called.
Cigarillo.
But But yeah, Hisoka's kind of to the back a bit. He seems to be deep in thought when the woman kind of approaches, and he was kind of surprised that she's addressing him. I am fine. This will heal in time.
He is being modest. Might we find lodging here? We can take care of ourselves, but there was a scuffle with what seemed to be some perhaps out-of-town brigands, too drunk on sake.
Jisella, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it looks like he's about to say something, but he stops himself. And he just kind of nods.
Jisella speaks up. There's a lot of that going around. Many ruffians in from down in the valley these days. If I had my way, I would let you inside. Perhaps you could even use my private quarters if you agreed to help me gain audience with the daimyo at the castle.
Oh, I thought you would want to speak to me, Mirumoto Shimizu-san.
He didn't hear it, but as you say that, you see kind of stumbling at the door is another one of the samurais, bleary-eyed with bloodshot eyes and dried lips. He stumbles out. Did I hear Shimizu? Or am I hearing things? And he kind of looks around. And he's going to make that check for glory. So what was your glory rank?
Oh, let me look. The thing is, I don't know that anybody, just before we proceed, I don't think anybody knew who I was when I killed all those people, right? I mean, my glory rank is 7.9.
Woohoo! Damn.
Ah, he's dumb. He's not gonna make it anyway. Oh, never mind. He wouldn't know you from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, he just shrugs.
Kind of stumbles out. Which way is my home? And he kind of disappeared down the alleyway. Oh, they come in here, cretins, but at least they spend their money. Too often not leaving any in their pockets for their own family, but I suppose I am the richer. Jisella kind of looks around and ushers you all, looks to Hibiki as well, who seems to be injured. Come, follow me. She ushers you all inside.
And as they're heading inside, Hibiki quietly turns to Shimizu. Please keep your boasting down, cousin. We must not alert those outside, right?
I forgot for a moment. Excuse me, cousin.
As you enter into the geisha house, you just see kind of the aftermath of the night before. There are kind of younger girls, probably between the ages of 8 and 12, that are kind of scrubbing the floors. You see some vomit down one of the hallways. One of them's picking up clothes off the floor, and the other one's picking up a bunch of food that has been spilled. Still others are preparing probably for the coming night. You smell some food being cooked as Giselle kind of walks you down the many hallways towards her room and dressing room. So, she says, a band of ruffians, eh?
Oh yes, very callow thugs indeed.
And she stands by the door and gives a bow and gestures with her right hand to go ahead on into her room.
And Hibiki gives a slight bow to Gisella and says, "Thank you very much."
Hey, I will let you stay here at least for the day, perhaps the night as well. That is, if you tell me the truth.
Hisoka pauses as he's kind of about to enter the door, and it's probably his face she's looking at as she says that, because he's an open fucking book, and he pauses and kind of looks to the others. He's not speaking, but looks like he doesn't know what to say. He's kind of
Well,
Hibiki will chime in quickly. We only need to stay for a brief period of time, but thank you.
I will offer any assistance that I am able, granted that you keep me in the loop about what you are doing. In a manner of speaking, a geisha of my caliber, well, it is said that Jisella the Swan deals in secrets, and I know how to do many things beyond my station.
I wonder then, do you know a way to get into the dungeon? Not the front gate.
seek to enter the dungeon.
Donjon is castle.
Oh, I see.
The dungeon? No. That is one of the few places in Twin Peaks Castle that I have not seen. and I consider myself lucky for it. Although the daimyo was fair, the rumors coming about Inogami Rin from that place speak of great evils in the dungeon.
Ha! What about the castle itself?
I may be able to get you to the front door, but like I said the previous night, unless it's been banged out of your head by a katana, I am no longer allowed in the castle. I was a entertainer and consort to the daimyo upon a time, but his new wife-to-be does not find me, shall we say, pleasing to the eye. And she goes and starts to run a hot bath here, looking at you guys, how beat up you are. In time, she makes herself over to her dressing room and takes off her outer kimono, hanging it up, and starts to, to the equivalent of removing her makeup. She looks to all of you that are injured and says, "Some of you are in need of medicine."
Hisoka's dripping blood as he's standing there. I suppose I should tend to my wounds.
Hibiki, can you call to the kami?
And Hibiki looks over and says, if Jisella wishes to tend to Hisoka, she can. I will tend to myself, and if anyone else needs assistance.
I am unharmed.
Hisoka kind of steps up and kind of Hidetaka would definitely notice his face is he's keeping on pretty well, but he's weary. There's a bit of a gap there, and you can tell he looks solemn more than anything as he kind of heads over. I just need some bandages. I can patch myself up all right.
The geisha looks to both Hisoka and Hibiki, maybe considering if there's more there than meets the eye. But though she is trained in dealing in secrets, she knows sometimes when it is best to stay silent, and so she prods no further. Within, goes into her dressing room. Of course. Your name is Hisoka-sama?
Tsuchi Hisoka-san.
Aye. Come.
You are most gracious. Thank you.
Sit down here. My blood does not concern me. We have girls to clean it up. Let me take a look at your wounds. I have some fresh linens here.
He sits back with a bit of a wince, despite himself. As much as he's saying, I'll be fine. He is actually pretty heavily injured.
Mm-hmm.
He's by this point, he's probably taking a bit of his cloak or whatever he has on hand, maybe a spare bowstring or something to tie off a bit that's bleeding really bad or something like that, just to put a bit of pressure on it, stuff like that. He does have one in medicine, so he has a vague idea of what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. And I can try to treat your wounds if you would like.
Yeah, he won't stop her.
Since Hibiki's not going to help you. Let me look it up again here. Healing wounds. Every night's rest, you recover a number of wounds equal to twice your stamina plus insight. And medicine does... it's been too long. When you treat wounds that an ally has suffered from damage, a medicine check is 15. Will remove 1 K1 of wounds from the victim. So it's not great, but it's something. Each successful raise allows an additional die to be rolled, but no more than 1 die is ever kept. So I could do a 2K1. Yeah, we'll do it with one raise. She's not too bad at the healing. Let's go ahead. Not wonderful, not great.
I think Hibiki will try using
Oh, yeah.
medicine first before using her spells.
She's not bad.
Oh, so now you get 2k1. So you get 8 back.
Better than nothing.
That might put you down a level.
It will. Puts me down to 17, so yeah, definitely.
17 puts you only at nicked then.
Grazed. Oh yeah, you're right.
So I'll change your wound
Or
level.
no, that'd still be grazed, yeah.
Would it?
Yeah, because it's 14. I don't have super high because I still only have.
I have you. The cutoff for graze is 18.
Oh, is that?
Yep.
Where it starts? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that's where it starts. So
Oh.
I'll put you at nicked.
I thought that was where it ends. Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good actually. So no,
yeah,
you're back
she
to a
actually
plus
does quite a
320.
good job.
Mhm. So how does that feel as this the deft hands kind of glide over your body, pressing these clean linens upon you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she has to make a seduction roll because Hisoka has literally never had anyone do this for him before. And he just found out his wife has been cheating on him for God knows how long. And
She's not trying
he's
to
in
seduce you, but
of all the times that he might, this is it.
all right.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna have to go back and commit seppuku or some shit if he doesn't redeem himself somehow. So I
Seduction. See what she has.
don't know if she would like be trying, but
You're just in the mood.
poor boy.
Got a
He's
sad
in the mood for
boner.
anything other than his depressed, like ready to die self. He's pretty much accepted it now. Well, mostly because I mean, like he knew what he was getting into, but also
It's temptation seduction, right?
I think so.
Yep.
She doesn't have an emphasis though, so it's just regular.
Interesting.
Unless I just forgot to put it on there. But 32 is pretty good.
Shit. Oh my God! What's the resist?
Seduced.
Good luck.
This is the point. He saves his daughter from blood mages, and then he descends into debauchery. What's the resist?
Is there like a discipline or something?
Willpower, probably.
Yeah, willpower, but that's a straight up.
Wouldn't that be?
You're probably not going to get enough dice for that.
I mean, something out
has
of
to-
willpower.
Has to be a skill.
No, there was one for resisting. What one was it?
Look, I don't. I mean, etiquette. You wouldn't.
I don't think he's gonna make it anyway. I
Probably
guess it would
not.
be.
But I mean, well, all I can think of is either etiquette
Or sincerity, maybe.
yeah, sincerity. One of those two is what I would think.
Hold on, I can tell you. I looked it up. Temptation, awareness against etiquette, courtesy, willpower.
Mm.
Okay. Courtesy, willpower. Okay, so switch it to willpower. Okay.
It's etiquette.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, etiquette is good.
She might just be doing it. I don't know if she's interested in a wasp, but
Who would be?
He's probably the first wasp she's ever seen. So if anything, he's exotic.
maybe. Have that wounded charm about you.
But yeah, Hisoka. He's genuinely surprised, like how well she does, like wrapping up his wounds and stuff, and he relaxes and genuinely has this look of not really. Hidetaka's kind of there by the doorway, and he sees there's a bit of a look in Hisoka's eye. It's almost very innocent. As he just smiles softly, kind of forgetting himself. She wraps his wounds, bleeding finally stopping and shit. Poor Hisoka. He is genuinely like an innocent little boy.
So what's going on outside her dressing room with you, the three of you?
Izunazuka's sitting there and he's seeing Jisella take care of Hisoka's wounds. He sits down next to the door. Again, Madam, we appreciate you taking us in, especially at such an hour, and also using deaf skill to heal up my cousin here.
It is my pleasure, Hidetaka-sama.
Now, on to your questions about honesty and forthcomingness. Let us say that I were to approach a conversation with you with such honesty as you request. How do I know that you are not one who would serve yourself rather than the good of your realm?
Hisoka actually kind of. This is the place of the geisha, is it not?
Aye. And a geisha would not be a geisha, or worth the makeup on her face, if she spilled her heart and mind to every dashing older gentleman, Hidetaka-sama. I can be trusted. I do not think that I did not overhear at least some of your conversation with Amari Tomio-sama. The frequenters of this house are not at all pleased with the way the winds are blowing in the castle. If you need other assurances, I am sure they could be arranged, Hidetaka-sama.
He leans back and kind of rubs his chin. Let us say that there are other parties interested in taking up the leadership of Shao-King. Parties that would be more favorable not only to the Geisha house, but also to the loyal retainers and the people who serve under the daimyo. Let us say that you are in the company of supporters of this man, and that we are going to come up with a plan to reveal certain indiscretions going on at the daimyo's castle.
Well then, indiscretions can be treated like other secrets, Hidetaka-sama. And is it not the place of a daimyo and his attendants and his court to both rule the people, but also protect them? I am sure that myself and my friends would back such a man.
Then what I would propose is that if you were to rally up support from local retainers and influential peoples of Shao-King to help create a situation where our small band could gain an audience with the daimyo, or as I hear it, his bride-to-be ruling in his stead, for us to present evidence of said indiscretions to the court to see plainly.
I would be willing to aid you in such an endeavor, and I will do it with the subtlety that only a geisha can provide. There are certain areas of Shao-King that the castle still does business with, although the gates to Twin Peaks Castle are often closed often closed in response to the paranoia of the daimyo himself. In fact, no one has seen him in such a long time.
It is likely that the indiscretions we have uncovered are related to that, as unfortunate as the thought may be.
Mm-hmm.
There is an evil influence here. That is all I can say for now. But be assured, if you are able to assist us earnestly in this endeavor, the new daimyo will restore your rightful place at the court as an entertainer.
There's actually Hisoka kind of looks up to you, Hidetaka. Hidetaka-san. And he there's this kind of look on his face like he's kind of epiphany, like perhaps with, as you said, the drumming up of support, whispers of the truth of what happened were to reach more ears, then not, of course, the full situation, but people found out, would not stand idly by. No one would.
We do not have the time to rely on such whispers, and you underestimate the tyranny that someone in a position of power can accomplish, and what those underneath, who are normally loyal retainers to the realm, will do to preserve status and favor, not to speak ill of the retainers of Shao-King, for they do not know the indiscretions that are undergoing at their court at this very moment.
And Hibiki chimes in. There was one more who was there with us. One more that was not taken care of. And she is unaccounted for.
All right. Looks, Hisoka, he kind of steels himself as he looks to Hidetaka. I would expect that they would come for us.
Ah, that is why we should attack now.
Attack? I do not think attack, but we should push our advantage. We must convince the court of Shao-King of what we already know. For even this base concubine preparing to be a bride, and this evil that lurks in the temple, they cannot oppose all the loyal retainers of Shao-King all at once. It is too much influence for them to overcome. This is where we must strike. In the court.
We wish to force them to show the truth. Show whether or not the Emperor is in control.
We must show the retainers of Shao-King the darkness that exists within their court, their very temple. Do we still have pieces of jade?
Yes. I gathered as many as I could.
We will need them. Hold on to those. But we must bring this to the court. That is where this battle will be won. Good loyal retainers would not allow such a presence to rule over them if they knew what truly was behind it.
How do we gain an audience? We are outsiders.
And he gestures to Jisella. With the influence of those who would assist us in a righteous cause. And Tomio as well.
Tomio-sama can be trusted, as can myself. This evening I shall take you to the court of courtesans if you should wish. But first I do suggest that you stay out of plain sight and rest up. For what I have heard is very treasonous, even if it comes from a place of honor.
Yes, we should certainly stay out of plain sight. But the sooner this can be accomplished, the quicker we can prevent further degeneracy from turning Shao-King into a place of pure evil.
Yes. Things that are happening here. It cannot be allowed to go on. I do not know if we will be able to stop them in time. What if...
What?
Yeah, and there's some visual concern on Hisoka's face. With the death of... He kind of pauses again, realizing that he's kind of given away more than he was probably supposed to. They might try and do something drastic, do you not think?
They will blame us for his death.
They could
They
not
try and
reveal.
take control.
What was I guess?
Oh, I was gonna say, out of character. What was the name of the dude who was trying to feed Hibiki blood?
Yeah, let's see
Fane.
the
What's Fane, right?
No.
Mitsuka Fane. No. Was it Mitsuka
I'm gonna grab
not
one.
Mitsuka Fane.
Fane was the
Well,
other
I
guy,
grab one.
the younger
Yeah,
guy.
that was the one that.
Hikuro.
Fane? Hikuro?
Kuro, that's...
And
Yeah,
he's the
very-
daimyo, right?
Yeah.
Well,
No,
he's
he's,
his brother.
Okay, the brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wants his bloodline back on the throne, basically.
Hidetaka's interpretation was revealing him, not the other guy. So
He is. You've uncovered most of the plot, so let me just show you his family tree. It makes it easy.
Yeah, Hisoka's idea is...
So many
he's
slides.
worried they're gonna...
So many
That's
slides.
Because if they realize there's already resistance in the city, they might try and advance their plans.
He is the brother of the mistress
Okay, that's right. Alright,
and
alright.
the dad of the dude you killed in Ikcho.
Yeah. My blade slipped on accident.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was his family basically that once had rule over Shao-King, and now he wants them to
Mhm.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't lose it to some adopted kid.
Man, could you imagine if Hibiki had gone for it?
She was nice.
That would have been very different.
If he didn't have to, like, fucking kill her parents.
Well, just imagine if you hadn't found out and then you'd gone for him, and you found out later.
That would have been dramatic.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Hisoka's basically worried that they're going to advance their plans or try and take drastic action with the revelation that there's resistance in the city, or knowledge that there's corruption in the city now, being out potentially.
Shimizu, I do have a question, Uncle. I leave the thinking to you, but I will raise this one point. Would it not be better to petition a greater court? The Miramoto court, or somewhere else that has province over all Dragonlands, and bring our case to them directly? Or...
It does seem...
Or rally an army and take the city by force. If we go to court, no matter what we say, we are trapped. If it goes poorly for us, we all die.
Hidetaka leans back and rubs his chin. You raise good points, nephew. You are more of a thinker than you give yourself credit for. Well, here's what I would say in response. They are good avenues to consider if we fail. Perhaps we should send Kansuke or one of the retainers under Tomio to do such a thing in case what happens, or what I expect will happen, does not occur to the satisfaction that I would like it to. But if we raise an army, then we are condemning many to die here. Not just Eta, or people that samurai may consider beneath them, but law retainers potentially, defending their lord, men who could serve the realm. On the other hand, if we petition a greater court, it will take time. And as Hisoka pointed out, They are going to advance their plans because of the actions that occurred during Hibiki and Hisoka's capture. If we send to the courts now, by the time they respond, whatever foul deeds that are being conceived in the palace may already have transpired. And
Besides,
Shao-King will be beyond savior.
indeed, and if my daughter speaks of what occurred there, there's no way that more will not come to help. Eventually.
Yes, Inogami Ishi-sama certainly will be raising an army, I would think. Just for the fact that Hibiki has been so mistreated.
I think this is another problem. Hidetaka-san, how do you plan on using the court to our benefit, without Hibiki-san to guide it? I do not disrespect your abilities, but Hibiki-san would be most suitable, and if their retainers have already told of what occurred at the temple.
I just suppose that my nephew will have to lead it, and present me as an advisor, to speak on his behalf, perhaps.
Hisoka
Many
breaks
would not
face.
doubt.
Yeah,
Would-
so does Shimizu actually just rubs his temples.
Yeah, Hisoka just can't believe Hidetaka just said that.
Yeah.
Uncle, I do appreciate your faith in my abilities, but although I have tempered my anger and my brashness, it is not gone entirely.
Nephew, listen. It is not about your brashness. Your boldness can be used to advantage, but I digress. That is beside the point. You are known. You are recognized. If you were to bring something of this nature to this court, it would be treated with some level of legitimacy right
Hey.
away.
If I may interrupt, Uncle, and she looks to him, I am very well known in the court. I am very well respected in the court. And I do not see why my voice would not carry any weight. I do understand that Shimizu is very well known in his battles, but in the...
I do
Yes.
not think that is the issue. Our faces have been seen. If you go to the court, and they speak against you out of what happened at the temple. I do not know Shimizu-san was involved, but we know our faces.
Hibiki, I must say, it is with great reluctance, I must say, that you should leave with Hisoka, to be honest, and head back to that other place that I cannot remember, and find your husband-to-be. Otherwise, he would not forgive us if Uncle and I fail and we are captured and put to death.
Then what we will do when we get back, when we meet with Ishii, I will inform him that I do think that we need to raise an army. I do think that we need to be prepared to fight, for I do not think that Inogami Rin nor the daimyo will give up the seat of power without a fight.
I hate to agree with the path of violence, but I see few options here, Hidetaka-san.
No, I believe we should raise the army. If we fail in trying to sway the court, it will be war. There will be no hope for anything else. And unfortunately, nephew, you and I will probably be dead. But Hibiki-sama, you see the right of it. The army must be prepared in case.
I think, though, an army will be prepared regardless of whether we go or not.
Aye, it is not that I think that you need to go to raise the army, but for the safety of Hibiki-san.
I agree on this.
It is not that I do not think you could aid us in court, Hibiki-sama, but they would utilize you and Hisoka as living pieces of evidence to discredit us. Say that you busted up the temple. It would work against our cause.
Hisoka says quietly, do have one piece of evidence that is irrefutable. As long as we can connect it to Rin. And he still has, of course, what the hell was the old guy's name again? We took his head, right? And wrapped it in cloth with some of the fingers.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hisoka
Hikuro.
has that still.
Yes.
So
It-
it's like,
It is more simpler than this. Make them handle the jade. When the jade weeps, they will be proven to have the Shadowlands taint.
My plan exactly, nephew.
Here's your little Hikuro head.
Hibiki, she chimes in. If they have had the tea beforehand, like they had at the temple, it will not make a difference.
that's true, I suppose.
We will surprise them with it. You cannot prepare someone for something they are not aware of. Perhaps we will catch them unawares, but if not, we still have more evidence. I have this book as well, found in the temple.
Hidetaka-san, there is another glaring issue I am afraid to report. If taint has not spread past those we fought at the temple, then this plan would end in failure and disgrace. But not.
You mean if those of influence were tainted as well?
I mean, if what they said was true, and they were so honorable as they seem to think they were. They were trying to reduce this spread. If Rin is not affected by it, then this would be folly.
Or I could simply challenge the daimyo to a duel. In the name
She
of...
is ill.
I
She
think they
needs
would
you.
accept.
He has to have a champion.
Dragon courts have always conducted themselves with evidence. This is how we must win this battle. And if it does not work, then there is the army. But we have to assume that Daimyo's bride is influenced in some way by this. The connections are too clear otherwise.
If I may, like I said before when we came in here, let me ask the kami to see what we should do next. For my advice was not taken before we came here, so maybe you will take it a second time.
No, I agree. Please, consult the kami. Let us see what can be divined from a path.
I indeed did not presume we wouldn't.
And Hibiki looks like she is about to say something, but she turns and walks to the back and will attempt some divination.
I just want to kill.
Of all the time,
Okay.
I think Hibiki wants a war, personally.
Oh, I do.
of
Ooh.
course she does.
That's very good. So, just, tell me what your little ceremony looks like in the powder room there of the Geisha.
Yeah, so Hibiki, she takes out some incense, probably searching the room a little bit, laying it on the floor, lighting it. She puts a small mat down before sitting down, and she will bring out her calligraphy items. And basically she's going to attempt to maybe divine some maybe words or something of the sort. Close her eyes and dip her pen into some ink and just start writing.
As you start to write, you see, the sun is rising in the east and it's filtering in through the windows. And there are these little motes of dust that are swirling in the morning sun, these orange swirls of dust. And as you write, it's almost as if the dust forms into a graceful hand and comes down upon your own hand and guides your stylus, your brush, as you start to write. You feel that familiar sensation, the ring of earth, flow through you. You feel grounded. You feel that the hand that guides you is very sure and steadfast in its revelation. And you can say what the actual writing is. You get a feeling that there are at least some in the castle that carry the taint within them to the point that it's irreversible.
Yeah, so as she writes, it's also, I guess, maybe a bit of a drawing more than anything. And she illustrates the, I would say, the palace itself. It's the actual main room. And demonstrating with small writings the various members of the court who are tainted themselves. This almost surrounding the small number that are untainted, that are pure. And it takes a few moments, probably in there for at least 10 minutes or more. And as Hibiki finally puts down her brush, clearing away the incense, she picks up the writing, looks down at it, and she's alone. She frowns slightly. She leaves the writing, but she gets to her feet and starts to make her way out of the back powder room. She says, "There are many within the court who are tainted. I feel that if we went to the court now and attempted to present any sort of findings, there would be much against us. It would not be fair. It would not be a just judging of the evidence brought. I feel that if we attempted to do this in proper form, if we attempted to appeal to many of the Dragon Clan with evidence, they would twist it, deform it, just like they are themselves. And there would be ill judging. We would not properly get through. And there might be a chance that they would put the two of you to death. This is what I feel that the kami are saying to me."
Hidetaka rubs his chin, kind of looks at the floorboards. And well, it is a shame that matters such as this could not have been resolved sooner, before this took place. I feel we must change our plans and embrace violence of action alongside Ishii-sama.
I am sorry, Hidetaka-san. But do you think there is any odds of Shimizu's plan working? Take the castle to eliminate those that are corrupted.
Perhaps I could persuade the castle guard to follow us and gain followers as we go with my name, and perhaps they will find me a suitable leader and believe my words.
Indeed, if we were to gather a suitable but small force, we could storm it. If we must, take out those that are corrupted and prove corruption.
Yes, the idea would be to catch the vile woman and put her to death quickly. or prove that she has done the same to Ishisama's father.
If we commit to this plan, we cannot fail. If we do, it does not only mean our deaths, but it will completely cripple Ishisama's reputation, and they may even turn it all against him.
It is
It will
true.
destroy his family name.
It is not a decision I can make, Uncle.
They would still lose face for this, would they not? Hisoka... Sorry, I imagine with the evidence at hand, if we can ensure that we get help, that Inogami-san, Sama, hurt the Emperor even, if need be, of the dire circumstances here, surely they would not leave it unheeded.
Nah.
It is possible that the influences at court here would turn everything on Ishisama, and we have left a considerable trail of death to this point. No, if we fail this, it may mean the death of Ishisama's cause.
It is a dangerous plan, and I cannot commit to it with Hibiki-sama here with us. I am sorry, cousin. It would put you at unnecessary risk. I do believe the wisest thing to do would be to return to Ishisama. If there is nothing else we can do here without facing certain harrowing danger for her. Although I am confident in my skills, the four of us would have a difficult time storming the castle if we did not, or we were not able to gather aid anyway.
Hisoka actually nods very deeply, and his head stays down. Indeed. I vastly underestimated the power of those with the corruption. Shugenja were not something to be trifled with. There is at least one remaining, and who knows how many more.
I do think that it is wise for us, at the very least, to summon the Kuni witch hunters. If we fail, they will come here and cannot be constrained and will test those they find suspect for the taint, and they will not fail. And those that are found to be tainted will be executed.
Yeah, Onizuka leans back. Then we raise a small force of men, samurai, that we trust here. We believe are loyal to Shao-King and try to usurp the castle from within. Hopefully then reveal the evil that dwells within it and gain support of the populace so that Ishisama can claim the throne.
I wonder, Uncle, if we do believe Ishisama is raising an army and marching it this way, could we not just open the gate for him?
This is another good point. If we were to send correspondence through other means, perhaps an arrow over the wall to a contact, perhaps we could set the city up for a quick and non-violent takeover.
Well, fighting in the courtyard is violence, but
It is better than losing an entire city to war.
A small force within to open the gates for Ishisama's men on the outside. I think this would be a good strategy.
Hibiki-sama.
But it would also rely on a message.
Yeah. Can you ask the air kami to aid us, or is that beyond your grasp?
I can do what I can, Shimizu-san. I will attempt to prepare you and Uncle with some items. Even though I am a samurai as well as the three of you, it seems like the three of you are set on sending me back.
I cannot tell you what to do. I am not your commander. If anything, you are ours.
Hisoka would actually, at that point, stand again and kind of take a step over and motion for Hidetaka to make way. And kind of there in the doorway where Hidetaka is now, he'd actually just straight up go down Doga's. I have already failed to protect you once, Hibiki-san. This shall be regret for what time I have remaining. Yes, I apologize. I do not wish to cast you away, but I do not have confidence in my abilities the way I did before. I cannot trust myself with your protection.
And Hibiki pauses for a few moments and looks down to Hisoka. I think it will be wise for us to get to Ishizama to bring the army. I think in case you, Shimizu, and Hidetaka fail, though I have the utmost confidence in both your abilities, if you should fail, we should quickly hurry back to make sure we are here within a few days. And she looks to Hisoka again. I will heal you for the evening and night slumber, or not fully restore you from the battle before. But we must make haste. Head back to Ishi.
This is what I was asking. Can you call on the air coming to deliver the message for us?
She shakes her head. I do not have the ability to command them to send messages at great distances.
Do you think there is someone in town that could?
One
Hisoka
that
would-
can be trusted? We do not know.
Hisoka actually kind of lifts his head, and there are a couple of drops that those that would be kind would assume to be water on the floor after he lifts his head, but his eyes look dry now. He actually looks to Jisella the Swan, who, of course, he acknowledges the fact that she's been here listening to all of this, as a good geisha does. And perhaps you know of someone, Jisella.
Well, there is someone. I could tell you about him, but you would think me, perhaps, that I have lost my mind. That my marbles are rolling around in an empty skull.
And yet we speak of corruption within Shao-King. Thing is off the table anymore.
True. And she knows your name now by listening and abandoning your wound, Hisoka-sama. These do seem to be strange times. But as the saying goes, that you always live in interesting times. Can you each roll lore?
History focus.
Sure.
Ooh. I don't have that. I just have, and I'm pretty sure nature lore ain't gonna do nothing.
Actually, it would in this instance.
Shugenja?
Oh, really?
Would Shugenja work?
Shit.
Shugenja lore?
No.
I just have the L.
Oh, yeah, Shugenja would work.
I'm gonna do, no, I'm not gonna do anything. Hey!
Okay. So, Jisella the Swan starts to speak. Let's see. Where's my slide of Shao-King? Oh my gosh, I think I moved it.
Is it archived?
Shao-King. No, up here it is. I just never thought I'd use this. But as the geisha
Oh my
starts
God.
to speak, she starts to speak a legend of an old man that lives out beyond a haunted forest. No one knows his name. They simply call him the Old Hermit, and he lives in this place. And rumor has it that many years ago, many years ago, around the founding of Shao-King, that he protected the entire city by commanding the kami with great power and great speed. And he was even able to send and receive messages from Shiro Mirumoto via the kami. And she says, "It is even said at night that this old hermit can listen to the wind, listen to the trees sigh in the haunted forest of Nentoshan, and that he can read the wills of men and women and foretell things that are yet to come. But again, these are only tales told by old men who are too deep in sake and too addled with lust for women. I would not place any importance on this."
So Hisoka with the 26, would he have? You
You-
said.
You've heard of the same thing.
Well, I think also he's with how heavily tied to Chikishudo as he is. This probably sounds like the type of legend he'd be really interested in. You know, this.
Yeah, that's why I let you use
forest,
the nature. Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of seems to ponder. This does sound similar to stories we have in the south. Some that I know have close connections to such realms as Chikishudo. And in the wilderness, things are not so plain as within a city like Shao-King. The veil between worlds is not the same. If stories are to be believed, some denizens do cross over. Perhaps this is one such. There may be merit yet.
It is only an idea.
If nothing else, I don't suppose you'd have a hawk. That would be a much faster way of sending a message as well.
I do not have a hawk, but as I said before, if after you rest, I'd be more than glad to escort you to the court of courtesans. There are many messengers from many lands.
Hisoka looks to the others.
Yeah, Shimizu said, "What do you think, Hidetaka? Hibiki-san?"
Well, I think a messenger is for certain. We must take advantage of Jisella-san's offer. But I know nothing of the spirits, only that they exist, the kami. I do not know them over much. I would ask for Hibiki-sama's opinion on if we should utilize this hermit instead.
Hibiki thinks on it. How long would it take for us to get to him?
No one knows the haunted wood well at all, so it is hard for me to say. Although some have said they have met the man when least looking for him, wandering beneath the pines, leaning on an old and gnarled staff.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but if ever I've heard a story about a kitsune, that sounds similar. I know my way through forests fairly well. I dare say I might be able to track such a being down. But pauses for a moment. Jisella, are there wolves in the forest?
These mountains are filled with wolves, Hisoka-sama. Indeed, I would urge caution.
This is wonderful. And he actually kind of breaks face and smiles to the others. We can find this one. If I can find a pack, I can have them assist us. I'm sure of it.
Shimizu just stares at you like, what the hell are you talking about?
We could try, but as it is said, if it is one who appears when you are least looking for him, the harder we look, the less we are likely to find. I think we should trust in the kami more than anything to find one who is so in touch with the kami.
But Hisoka will be most important for us finding our way back to the city. I am not one who goes trekking in the woods overmuch.
I am not saying it will not be useful to get back, but to find. We can trust in the wind, and trust in the water and the ground to help us find our way.
I will trust in you, for you know the kami better than any of us.
I think we should make haste then. We should rest soon.
So, we go to find this hermit to send message, and in the meantime, more practical means, we prepare this small force of samurai to open the gates and perhaps take over the castle when the time comes.
Hey?
And think of this, cousin. This will keep you here. So you can see battle, huh?
It is not just about seeing battle, Shimizu. It is about proving myself as a samurai and as a shugenja, as I have before and as I will continue to do. It's also about defending my husband-to-be, making sure his will is enacted.
Shimizu nods, puts his thumbs into his obi. Heh! I can see by the end of this, you will grow fat, here in Shao-King with a horde of children.
And you, Shimizu-san, you will be by the blade and die by the blade, but unfortunately the only company that you will ever have is most likely in houses such as this.
Huh? Well, it is not so bad here.
I agree. It is rather comforting to be in such an establishment, particularly at this hour.
I suppose it is my first time, but I must admit it is comforting than I expected.
A surprise!
I am glad the three of you feel this way.
Nah, do not get so bent out of shape, cousin.
I am not bent out of shape, Shimizu-san. I am tired and I am injured. I should rest soon.
Yes, yes. You rest. I will watch the door. Sleeping with my eyes open, as they say.
And you should rest as well, Hisoka-san. Those wounds are egregious.
Of course.
Yes, let me do something about this before I slumber. Go sit.
Hisoka looks almost as if he's about to protest, but just does as you say, and sits back down.
There's no change in Hibiki's demeanor. There's no smiles or even a hint of one. It's very neutral, the way that she looks at you. very clinical, as she leans down and will start to invoke the water kami to try and heal some of your wounds. I haven't used any water last battle. Once I find it. Oh, there it is. Wow. Okay.
Hey now.
So that's 21
Holy
points.
shit! So he's back up, basically.
Yeah, because it restores the number of wounds equal to the target. Equal to the amount by which the spell casting roll exceeds the spell's TN to cast. So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, Hisoka marvels at the fact that his wounds after this casting are completely gone. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's just it must be astounding to see as they kind of knit back
You've
together.
been washed in the water of the kami.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That
Dumps
meme
a bucket of
exactly.
water.
GIF.
But yeah, he looks back up to her. Thank you, Hibiki-san.
She nods and she stands back up. She stares at you for a moment. Not into your eyes. She mostly looks almost admiring her own handiwork and how she's done. She nods. The Watergami seem to be in good spirits this evening. And she turns heel and will make her way back down to the room that she's claimed.
Well, I will also take my old tired eyes to bed. But we have many trials on the morrow. Enjoy this night of respite, for I fear we will not receive another like it until this is done.
Good night, Uncle.
Good night, nephew.
Well, all of you. Thank you again for your hospitality, Jisella.
Of course, but it was more my pleasure than your own, Hisoka-sama. And as she exits the room, like she just lightly brushes your shoulder and leaves, casting a backwards glance as she leaves the dressing room.
Yeah, he's a bit taken aback and also very happy the others aren't in the same room as he blushes.
She doesn't look half bad from behind as she leaves. So you
He has
guys,
sweet dreams.
it's like probably like 6 in the morning at this point, 6:30 or 7 maybe even. So you're bumping right up at that 24-hour. You're going to get the fatigued condition if you guys don't get sleep. So I think that's probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So Hisoka goes back down to 0. I think with a good night's sleep, you'll be less banged up too, Kitsuki.
Yeah, you said it was stamina times 2.
It is healing. Show the players there.
Yeah, try stamina tape plus insight. Yeah, so I'm fully healed.
Yep. And so, how long are you gonna sleep? Just until like the afternoon, or?
Until Hibiki's rested for her.
Yeah, 6 hours. I guess you can get enough.
Mhm.
So everybody falls asleep in the chambers, and Giselle leaves. She sleeps in another bedroom, unfortunately for Hisoka. She has another long night of work ahead of her, and it comes to be around, probably early afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock. You guys all wake up. I do pleasure. I'll try something. I don't know if I made this map or not. I might have made a daytime version. Look. No.
It's a roof.
No, just nighttime. I probably figured you wouldn't go to this place unless it was at night.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, you wake up. It's early afternoon. And each of you kind of feel much better. Your wounds are improved. These... Just with all RPGs, I get really upset when people translate that number to like cuts. Doesn't mean that. It means fatigue, bruises, that sort of thing. So you feel better. And you hear some speaking outside. And eventually you hear a knock at the door. Shimizu! Shimizu-sama! It's me, Amare Tomio!
Yes, come in, Tomio-san.
And you see him kind of escorted by one of the geishas. Yes, I apologize, Shimizu-sama. He stormed right in. I could not stop him.
It's fine. Tomio-san, what do you have for me?
I have fulfilled my duties, Shimizu-sama, great and powerful warrior. I dare say it was not a challenge finding teammates to join forces with you and share in your glory if you would have them.
How many able warriors did you find for us?
Roll a 1d6.
Oh, man.
Don't roll a one.
Oh boy.
Here's that one coming. Oh,
4.
Hey!
What mixture of men and women do you want? Doesn't matter.
Half and half.
Just for fun. Half and half,
roll
2
a
and 2.
D4.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm going to find Helper Samurai. Alright, so you're going to get 2 Miyamotos and 2 Kitsuki. You get Miyamoto Saburo.
She looks nice.
Yeah, they're all going to look the same.
She'll look nice too, then.
Kitsuki Mikami.
Distant family relation.
Miyamoto Kobe.
Kobe.
And
Keep that man away from helicopters.
oh, dude.
He's real far away from him now.
It's
Big Miyamoto.
It's been 7 months.
Miyamoto Takada. So you hear you see as you kind of peek your head out into the hallway. I'm gonna remove the dynamic lighting for a second here. Yeah, as you peek out to the hallway, you can see the 4 of them kind of standing by.
Good.
So, where to next, Shimizu-sama?
Aye.
Do we go to the castle for glory and honor?
Not quite yet, Tomio-san. Not quite yet. There are preparations to do still.
Preparations?
Yes. Do you think I have so many victories by being unprepared? It is more than just a great blade and wise cunning in battle. You must prepare.
I awoke this morning at 5 a.m. prepared, Shimizu-sama. I have spent all night visiting home after home, street after street, even the wealthy section of Michi Richie. You see what I have brought? These are fine warriors, but if you say preparations are needed, then, like a tasty stew, we will simmer and wait until the flavor is right.
That is an interesting metaphor, Tomio-san.
It is said that in the house of Tomio-san, that I cook the most delicious meals.
Good. Well, I believe we have a check in our future. For you, what do you think, Uncle? Have them scout the town? See for any changes from the castle. Any extra guards, defenses?
This would be an idea. Yes, it is likely that there will be some changes to plan, Tomio-sama. But if you and these fine samurai would not mind keeping an eye for changes of guard, different men on patrol, men you do not recognize, any changes in the pass or entry through the gatehouses, these would be important things to know. And upon our return, we will formulate a plan in full.
I do wonder if it is also wise to perhaps try to get yourselves assigned to gate duties, both for the castle and the outer wall.
Aye. These are both good ideas, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. It should not be a problem.
If only one duty is possible, then make sure it is the main gate if you are able to procure such positions.
Aye. Our eyes will be peeled. Both of them will be on Twin Peak Castle. And Miramoto Saburo and Kitsuki Mikami. They have stood at gate duty before. We will see what we can do about getting them assigned.
Good. What time during the day would they be assigned to the gate, do you think?
What time would you like them to be assigned, Miramoto Shimizu-san?
He thinks about it for a second. Where, let's see. Wait, is it possible to get the sun in the eyes of the defender? Like, whatever time of day that would be.
In the castle?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on where you're
Yeah,
where you're going to fight.
well, yeah,
Whether it's
wherever the main entrance to the castle is. That's why I don't know which way it is.
So I'm looking at the entrance of that map, so it would probably be in the morning.
Yeah. At dawn.
Hi. I will do my best to see that Mikami-sama and Saburo-san are assigned to the gate at dawn.
Good. We must find a way to deliver a message. This is where we are going. If we would not return within... He looks to Hisoka and shrugs. By nightfall, perhaps? Or by the next morning?
Yeah, Hisoka's kind of back in the hall enough to where like his face isn't shown. Yes, I hope it will not take longer than this.
If you do not believe we are coming back, then you should leave this place enjoying Igani Ishi-sama in the other town.
It's where from? Icho.
Sorry, it's Icho.
No, I think he was referring to Kijo, which is the place where all the peasants were.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, wherever he is.
Oh, yeah,
That's where the army is,
Yeah.
technically, if we have an army.
Yeah.
It's the peasants.
Yeah, the peasants, and they'll probably be joined by... It's like in the video game, you have all the cannon fodder.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh man, always recruit the werewolves over the elves, man.
Hi.
Uh-huh.
I will look at you to come by nightfall, or at least hear word of your return.
Yes. Good job, Tomiya-san. This is for the honor of Shao-King in all Dragonlands. Your name will be sung with glory.
Glory will be had by all, and at the end, a feast. You will have some of my legendary stew.
I look forward to it, Tomiya-san.
And they all file out of the geisha house. And up front, I'm going to do this. Just see what happens. You rolled a 4, right? So
Yeah.
you have 4 helpers. So you get a flat 4 on your rolls using these guys.
Oh, okay.
Flat 4 bonus. Where's investigation? Oh, you had to hit 15, and you did. Alright, I'm not going to tell you what that means just yet. But what do you guys do? Are you going to the woods or whatever?
Looks like we're going to the woods.
If you're going to the woods, give me 5 minutes. You guys gotta take a leak, and I'll whip a slide.
Hey,
Cool.
I will grab some water.
Okay. Going mute.
man. Fucking
This is
hell.
why you make cool maps. There's a bunch of weird stuff on it because you never know when the players are gonna
That's
come up
so
with.
great.
Matt was getting ready to fucking unload on all of us for trying
Huh?
to put your back out into the
I
back out to Ishii.
Oh yeah, you fucks.
I
It's
felt, I
like,
felt
know.
the
let's
build
go
up.
back. Let's go back. It's like, fuck you guys.
Oh, the samurai trying to mansplain, eh? You
Mhm.
fuckers.
I know. She was so fucking angry.
I was waiting on it. I was waiting for the Hibiki clap back.
I know.
Since we
Wait,
weren't
which
in a
one?
court setting. Whenever we were all like, yeah, you should just go back to Ishii. And you're like, oh yes, I'm not a samurai or anything, you fucks.
Yeah.
I know. Man, that was rough.
It's like every single time you're like, oh, it's you have to go back. You have to go back, Hibiki. We can't protect you, or we're so worried. It's like I'm a samurai too. I have magic, motherfuckers. Literal
Well, I think
magic.
it probably stings all the more because she just got her ass handed to her by other Shugenja.
In fairness,
She
she got her
actually-
ass
Well,
handed to her
basically
because
ambush
of you.
Yeah.
She didn't
Yeah.
really get to
Yeah,
do it. She,
because
didn't, she was sitting there on a chair and then she ate a fucking rock to the dome.
Yeah, and then got
Funny.
fucking gagged. Yeah,
So
there's no
she was-
chance for her.
Yeah.
She was
It was
in Omega
basically a
Wound
fucking
threshold
sneak
level
attack.
and then unconscious in like 2 turns before she got to do anything.
It was pretty brutal.
And
God,
they
that
had
was
the
such a
they had
harsh
the
takedown,
advantage
too.
of no one knew if she didn't know any of them were Shugenja.
No, I knew that they were Shugenja. I was
Oh,
trying to be polite, but someone decided to go off the rails and be like, I'm gonna punch this guy. It's like, god damn it.
Didn't think I'd knock the guy out instantly, but I was so sure we had that.
No!
And then I realized I was like, oh no.
You didn't even tell Hibiki anything. You just
Well,
went
I
over
think-
and was like, bah! It's
I
like,
underestimated the lack of bow. Because if
Uh-huh.
I had had my bow from turn 1, they would have fucking died. Plain and simple. They would have been fucked.
you want
As
to
long as they
bet?
hadn't gotten that
Dude,
spell off. But
they would have got that spell off. You wouldn't have been able to kill them fast enough. I think you're
that was one
overestimating.
round off of me killing them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, literally, if I had had one more turn with the bow, he would have died, and then
He would have
didn't-
died.
You didn't respect your environment. No weapons in the temple, fool.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. No weapons in
Cheeks
the temple.
clapped. I'll be right back.
Of all the places.
Jesus. Shame.
But now we're gonna go find. I'm hoping it's basically fucking Uncle Boomy, but a kitsune or
be
some
interesting.
shit.
The fuck is this gift?
Some crazy forest dude. I can't wait.
It's gonna be like, hello.
Amazing. Let's see.
I'm back.
Hey,
Ooh,
All right, you should be able to see this map. Everybody ready?
I see the quote.
Yep.
Yeah, just Shao-King map.
God, that was like a beer piss or something. I'm back.
Oh, am I supposed to be able to see the thing at the very bottom left?
I removed some of the dynamic lighting. It's fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not really anything.
I want to move you guys though. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, other stuff is going on at the same time, like your daughter. So let's do that real quick. So this is between the road, between Shao-King and Ikcho. On the road between Shao-King and Ikcho are many villages. Kasuka looks down over craggy plains and low mountains as she walks. Her short legs feel like lead, but her mother taught her well. Never give up and never let them see your pain. She continues on, stoic in her regard. It has been a day since she and her Bushi protector left Shao-King. She likes the man's family well enough, his sons and daughter and his wife. But Kasuga seems to have aged 10 years in just a few months. She remembers her days in captivity. She remembers the corrupt Shugenja at Temple Jin. She remembers being torn from her mother even as Tsuruchi Mio fought bravely, killing one of them. Afterwards, she saw her mother only briefly in the company of Ichikawa Madoka, and then, for the last time, with the dark samurai, Hebi-sama. As she walks, she wonders what became of her mother. Tomorrow Gaizen, that's the one you guys sent off with her, calls out to her, "Kasuga, you look sad. Do not worry. You are safe, and will soon be in Ikcho. There you will tell the court all that has transpired." "Aye," says Kasuga. Her voice is high but sweet in the soft light of morning. "I will tell all that I know. I fear only for what it means. I fear for my family, and for all of Dragon Territory. The power that I have seen in Shao-King is unmatched. Shimizu-sama and the old man are clever. Do not despair, young one. There is strength in these mountains that has lain dormant for many years. We dragon are proud people. Do not be afraid." As Gaizon speaks, his face is dark. It is unclear if he believes his own words. "We will be in Ikcho the day after tomorrow." In the meantime, you have set out in the early afternoon through the streets of Ikcho. You do your best to remain nondescript, traveling on side roads and eventually going into low hills of the mountains of Ward. There is a pass through the mountains that leads down into a shallow valley that's overrun with pine trees, here and there spotted by a meadow of wildflowers. After a time, you guys find some sort of path in the forest. And the forest is large, it is full of life, and you're trying to find a very elusive man.
I'm going to... let's see. So Hibiki is going to try... What is it? I have a spell for this. So... There is sense, which is basically to sense the presence, quantity, and rough location of elemental spirits in the range of the spell, which is 50... I think 50 feet. Yeah, 50 feet. And then I have commune. Basically talk to them as well and maybe ask So I will attempt to do those. To see if I can maybe summon up or sense some kami and then talk to them to see if I can get an idea of where this hermit is.
Nice. And side note, Hisoka also has absolute direction. He possesses an also almost supernatural sense of direction. You always know what direction north is, no matter the circumstances. The only times it doesn't function is in the Shadowlands.
Got it. Maybe they'll find a way you guys can team up with this. 33 is pretty good. So, explain to me, Hibiki, what it looks like as you sit down next to a bubbling stream where the water meets the earth, and as you feel the power of earth trying to get these paths, these meadows, and these forests to tell you their secrets. And yeah, I'll let you give me the story there.
So she is going to, basically, she's going to take some dirt in her left hand and then cup up some of the water from the stream in her right. She sits cross-legged, takes deep breaths in and out, just trying to let, basically, nature and the kami come within her and pass throughout her. Attempting to let go of all material, basically the material, and focus on the spirit. Trying to reach out and sense where the kami are and where she can speak to them.
Let me find the token. Making me earn my keep today.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, we can do it. And suddenly you hear this, and you sense, you see actually a shadow kind of stretch out over the babbling stream. And as you turn to look, there is this thing made of earth that kind of rises up behind you. Who is it that has summoned me here? I would like to go back to my slumber beneath the hills. The bubbling of this brook is music to my ears.
I apologize for interrupting you. And Hibiki opens her eyes and continues to sit and look at the earth kami. My name is Kitsuki Hibiki, and there's someone that I seek, someone that we all seek. And once maybe we can have a better direction in which we can find them, you can go back to your babbling brooks, and I will be very grateful for your assistance.
Everybody would be grateful for the assistance of the kami if they could come at their beck and call. But what can I expect from this? Too many days, I sense a growing evil from the west. And he outstretches a rocky finger towards the encircling mountains of Shao-King. It wounds these forests, cleaves these hills, and we kami know many things of the future, and I do not want my meadows stained with blood.
This is what we look to heal, the wound there in the city. We sense it too. This is why we were brought here, to make sure that wound can be fully closed and properly cleaned and repaired. This is why we seek one in the forest who lives among you, but he stands such as us.
Oh, so you are not from Shao-King and do not represent its shadow? Ah, I am tickled.
We look to shed light on said shadow, and bring the one who will bring light to this darkness that now spreads. Put him back in power. Make sure that this does not happen again.
Well then, you have crossed the low mountains of Ward, and now seek one in the great forest of Nintoshan. What is the true name of the one you seek? For there are many beings of wisdom that live in these woods, and not all of them walk on two legs, as you do, Hibiki.
Did we get his name or did we not?
I don't think you typically have
I
names.
think it was just the old hermit.
Oh, him. Yeah, I thought you meant the elemental for a second.
Hibiki says, we do not know his true name, though many refer to him as the old hermit. Many have attempted to find him in these woods. Some have been rumored to find him and seek out his assistance.
Oh, the Hermit. That is one name he goes by. Although his names are as many as the stars in the sky, and the pebbles on this shore upon which you sit. He is a kindly being, and a friend to the earth. I will surely give you directions to him, although no man or woman will find him in these woods, for the paths are tortuous, and the woods of Nintushan do not take kindly to many travelers. He points to the east, and he says, travel into the heart of the forest, to the east until you find an oak that looks like it was struck by lightning but yet still lives, and then travel due north. There you will find a kindly old man. Although, again, I am sure your directions will falter ere you meet him.
This is the risk that we are willing to take to make sure to eliminate the shade that now reflects over the city. We will do this, and I thank you.
Very well. Now I shall return to my slumber, and let this stream sing me to sleep. And he just melts back into the earth, and all that's left is like a stone cairn.
And Hibiki stands back up and she looks to Hisoka. It is time for you to lead us then to the east, due east, and then to the north.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as you'd turn, he'd probably be just about back by then, I would imagine. So yeah, he nods. The east and then north. Very well. That should not be a problem.
And you guys can tell me what it looks like as you start along the path, and Hisoka definitely can pick his way through the many, the trails crisscross so often that if you didn't have true direction, you would be completely and totally lost.
Yeah, it's probably, I imagine it's Lost Woods style, where everybody goes around a corner and you're sure at one point we've turned this corner and it looks like we're about to go in a circle, and Hisoka's like, no, trust me, this is the way. And although it looks identical soon enough, in rather short time perhaps even, the burnt oak quickly comes into view. Ah, you see, it is not so hard.
I have to have Mr. Contrary speak up here, because he has that trait. Shimizu. Because what Hisoka is doing is no rhyme or reason to it, apparently.
Yeah,
He just knows.
Yeah, he literally just has an instinctual sense of direction. It's literally supernal for the most part.
But Earth Spirit got Shimizu's tongue apparently.
I was muted, sorry. I was saying that he has no idea where he is, so I don't know how he could argue again. He just like he's grumbling. This does not look like. All right, where are we going? He's like completely confused, but he has no since he has no.
Why are we doing this when we could use a hawk?
Yeah, he has no idea what's happening.
Do not worry, we are close. Would it make you feel better if I called some birds to guide us?
No, not really.
And almost despite the fact that he said no, Hisoka whistles out to call a couple of birds down from their perches in the trees. Should I just make an animal handling real quick?
Yeah.
Sweet. I have my 1K1. That as well. And they're automatically friendly with me, and I can instinctively sense their mood. So this is the point where Hisoka just turns into a Disney princess. Here we go. Okay, what? Yeah.
It's pretty good. What does it look like as these forest birds? There's sparrows and robins and.
Yeah, Hisoka. You see him literally just raise a hand and whistle out for a while, just going on.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a pretty good whistle.
Yeah. The birds just, it's more than he expected, actually. There's like a good number of them as they kind of flock, and you see, it's kind of eerie the way they take to the branches nearby and seem to, several of them even fly down nearby, and one lands on Hisoka's shoulder as he seems to scritch at its, just under its beak.
Yeah, Shimizu doesn't really like it so much. He just kind of frowns and looks to Hidetaka and shakes his head and kind of walks around to the other side of Hidetaka, getting away from Hisoka as far as possible.
But,
Hidetaka keeps a little bit of a distance because I don't think that man interacts with animals like that typically. It's intriguing, but from afar.
From a great distance.
Yeah, you would probably all see, once the animals are like around him and stuff as well. There's just no doubt about it. He breaks face. He seems incredibly content around. He almost forgets himself in this wilderness once he really gets going. As he continues forward, and it looks, based on the sun and the time of day, surely the way he's going is south from the tree, but he insists, and finally, after a good trek north, and some of the birds kind of finally fall off, the one large blue jay kind of flying overhead around still. Surely enough, I suppose, whatever it looks like as we arrive, Bo.
Yeah, so the birds kind of all... it's starting to be late afternoon now, probably sunset. And eventually they all kind of fly into this little clearing. And you see like these great, almost redwood trees, probably like big hemlocks or cedars. And they overarch this clearing. And in the middle of this thing, you see just a little hut that's overgrown with moss. And from the top of the hut, you see a single wisp of smoke rising up into the air, into the forest.
You see, here we are. Not that long of a trek.
This is good. We should head inside. But, of course, be respectful. This is their domain.
Of course.
Yes.
We know they are friendly.
Shimizu looks very uneasy. Just... I will be happy when this is over. Was this my idea? Perhaps a bad one.
Yes, well, this is why I do not step on centipedes. And he walks forward into the clearing.
Yeah, Shimizu looks down at his feet. Make sure he's not stepping on anything.
He's referring
Oh,
to
he
that
yeah,
episode, like,
he probably doesn't even remember that.
I know, yeah. Hisoka did. That stuck with him. He really didn't like it.
Hibiki has flashbacks.
We should tread carefully here. It is, even if this spirit is benevolent, as they say, it is possible that Kami will request something in return.
And I suppose if it's a kitsune, they may as well trick us on the way out. You never know what sorts of things the spirits of Chikushudo would get up to, if that is what this one is.
No.
I hope so.
I just want this to be done, so we can send a message.
Hey, let us go.
Let me find something real quick. Fun idea.
And Hisoka actually stops still, for a moment. There is one more thing. Depending on who or what this person is, do not imply that they may be from Chikishudo, whatever you do. The last thing we need is to drive them off.
I was not planning on it.
Not to sound unwilling to speak with the spirit, but I planned on letting you and Hibiki-sama take the lead on this one. I am not so educated on matters of the Kami.
Well, if stories are to be believed, many such spirits in our world are bound to their own rules, and, well, to give them away is one such thing, if the stories, again, are to be believed. I cannot help but indulge myself with such things. I find it fascinating.
As you get closer and closer to the hut, you can smell the smoke, and it's very savory, very succulent tasting. And you see a rustling in the trees from behind the hut first, and then on the other side, and you hear and then out from behind the hut emerges this little wild pig, this hog.
Little?
Yeah, wild hogs don't typically get little.
But there's two of them, and they just kind of look at you. And if a pig could give an expression, they just kind of tilt their head and look at each other quizzically.
Hisoka, yeah, Hisoka smiles, and it's as if he's just given up on it at this point. You see him kneel down right into the mud and kind of put a hand out to each of them, and actually pulls what looks like probably like a half-eaten apple or some ration or something similar from his pack, and splits it really quickly for each of them.
All right, give me another animal handling.
Alrighty, I would love to.
Oh, so good.
Oh my god. It's what I stacked him for. Of all the shit.
Oh, I didn't think this would be used. So you hear them just, and both one of them takes the apple and it crunches it, and you see the juice kind of go over its mouth and over its incisors, and soon the apple is in a bunch of pieces on the ground, and he's rooting through it. The other one kind of holds the apple in his mouth, and then you maybe look away towards the one that's eating the first apple. And then when you look again, you see a kindly old gentleman holding a staff in one hand and an apple in another. I haven't had a fresh apple in a long, long time. And he takes a big bite of it. And he chews it with abandon, giving no thought to etiquette as the juice runs down his chin.
Hisoka was kind of starting to pet the one, and as he looks back, there's this shock on his face, but it's kind of just bewilderment and wonder, more so than fear or anything of that kind. And he smiles widely. My, well then, I am glad to have offered it to you.
He takes another bite of the apple. Do you have any more fruit? Who are you?
Tsuruchi Hisoka.
What would I do for a pear?
I do not believe I have a pear, but there might be some other things. Let me see what I have.
Carrots? Fresh
Certainly have
cabbages?
vegetables. And yeah, Hisoka begins rooting through his pack and pulls out some of his various trail rations and stuff. Take as you please.
He takes a carrot and crunches it. He tosses the apple over his shoulder, and where it lands within moments, you see a small sapling just shoot up from the ground, maybe a foot tall. Then it stops.
Yeah, Hisoka is just all grin at this point. It's like his dream come true.
What is your name? Bearer of apples and bearer of carrots? And who are your friends?
I am Tsuruchi Hisoka. My pleasure to meet you. This is Kitsuki Hibiki-sama, Mirumoto Shimizu-sama, and Onizuka Hidetaka-san.
So many samas and sans that I can't keep them straight. My head is spinning. What do they call you? They simply call you Archer. They simply
Fine.
call you Proud Warrior, although it seems you can't hold your tongue. And you, old man, you have much shame within your heart. But you are slowly shedding it like a snakeskin, yes. And you, Hibiki, your heart has been broken. But mended recently, no?
She nods her head slowly.
Aye, it has.
So, are you going to stand outside among my friends, the hogs, or are you going to come inside?
I am quite happy wherever you wish. But he looks to the others. Well,
We would be happy to be welcomed into your home. Thank you.
Yes, it would be rude to refuse such a invitation.
It is perhaps not a home fit for sans and samas, but I make do, and do not worry. That savory smell is not my friends here. I partake on no flesh of the living. But I speak with them. That is true. I speak with them quite often. And this one here, he likes you, Hisoka. And he walks over to the hog that's eating the apple and ruffles his mane and gets...
well, I think I quite like him as well.
Shimizu's got the fakest, most uncomfortable smile on his face as possible. He says nothing.
And he ushers you inside the hut. As you go inside, the sun, the light is starting to fade. And you see there's a kettle hanging over a crackling fire. There are some earthenware jars that line the walls. There are, some various herbs and things hung across the lines that are drying. And he has a seat and starts to nibble on some sort of vegetation. So, no one comes into these woods without a reason.
Yes, indeed, and it is a dire one. We
Aye.
seek aid.
You must have noticed the stain that now remains inside and permeating within the city of Shao-King nearby. This is what we are looking to repair. But we do need assistance.
Shao-King, once upon a time held the promise of a jewel. Many 100 years ago, I saw it rise. My hope was that it would obtain the glory of perhaps a Kiro Miramoto or Kiro Kitsuki. But you are correct. A taint now grows in the west. It is all I can do is stay here with my friends the beasts and my friends the growing plants. It is a sad time for me. And yet here you are.
We look to make these times a much more happy time. One of the reasons we have come to seek your aid is there is a message that we need to get back to compatriots of ours in Kijo. There is a army that is awaiting to help us take Shao-King and a rightful heir be instated instead of the one that is now being controlled by one who has been tainted by shadow.
Oh, always with you. Talks of armies and talks of war. I don't want you to have wasted your time coming into these deep, dark woods. But if you come to bring whisperings of war, you cannot use my help. No. There are darker souls who would aid in such things.
Shimizu doesn't like that, so he speaks up finally. Excuse me.
Contrary. Contrary.
This war sometimes saves lives. Not all can flee to the woods and live with the beasts and the plants. We try to change things for the better. If it is not war, then it will be the dire corruption of everything around these Shao-King. The woods, this place too, I imagine, will all fall under shadow, and the taint of the Shadowlands will expand here in Dragon territory, as it does beyond the wall.
I must admit, I truly fear the same.
We have thought on going the path of negotiations to bring proper evidence to show that this taint is corrupted Shao-King. But there are many within the court who are unfortunately already tainted. And I have seen that if we had gone the route of bringing the evidence, everything would have been mounted against us. For the Shadowlands do not know proper evidence, proper courtly details and such. It would have been, well, we would have failed in that instance.
Oh, how do you know if you did not try? But I see Shimizu the warrior. He knows war, and so he sees the entire world as a battle. I have not heard from this one, though. This man who is long in the tooth, who wears shame upon his heart like a badge, something he is, ironically, proud of. Do you seek to bring war to this region as well, old man?
I would not seek it if I thought there were other options. If you are one who can divine my shame, you know my service. What I have done was to try to recover from a war that I waged on my court's behalf. I am not versed in the matter of the spirits. In many things, yes, but compared to the grand scheme, still, I know very little. But I trust my niece. She looked to the kami, and they foretold that my plan to go to the courts would fail. I have no reason to disbelieve her power. I have seen it firsthand, and it has saved our lives many times over the course of the journey we have found ourselves upon. If you can read my character and my soul, you know I do not take war lightly. Although some would probably shame me for what I am about to say, I would prefer all things settled through peace if we could help it. But there are some who force our hand. If I thought these people in Shao-King could be reasoned with, then I would have done so. We would have done so. But when darkness sets its heart on something, it pursues it with a vigor that we must match in turn to prevent it from overtaking the light.
He looks at each of you, and he smacks his hands together, starts to rub them. Starts to rub his hands vigorously back and forth, and then spreading them 2 inches, 3 inches, you see a glowing, pulsating light that oscillates between blue and green. And he looks into it almost like a divination tool. And then he claps his hand again. Very well. I will help you. But there is one thing I need from you.
I would happily do anything you please, if it would help.
Let's see here. Many years ago, when Shao-King was founded, I lived there. There is a shrine. The Spirit Shrine of Mem, it is called. Let me zoom you out and bring you there. When this is all said and done, I would again very much like to make it my dwelling place. From there, I think, yes, from there I could heal the earth. Heal the waters that flow down from the mountains, purify the air, and use fire for good and not for making war. I will aid you, but assure me, I will again dwell in the Spirit Shrine after this is over. Otherwise, my wrath is that of nature, and you will not like it.
I will make sure that this is done. Once Shao-King is cleansed of the Shadowland taint, and once the proper heir, Inogami Ishi-sama, is instated.
If fate deigns it, then perhaps one day I will be able to serve at this shrine. I will do my best to see that this is brought. Fuck! I lost my train of thought completely.
Brought to fruition.
Yeah, fruition. There you go. Thank you.
Very well. What do you need from an old spirit like myself?
Need help, I believe. Messages to anyone that might be able to stop this.
And Kuni witch
Nothing,
hunters. Definitely a message to them.
Very well.
And
Nakoni witch hunters.
hi,
And of course, yes, Hibiki.
Inogami Ishi. In Kijo.
What is this day's equivalent of a telephone operator? What do I look like, a
I
telephone
think
operator?
it gets sent to another Shugenja.
So the Kumi witch hunters.
Yeah, Kuni Witch Hunters for sure. Inogami Ishii, and then I don't know.
Yeah, because Ishii can relay it to the rest of them. So really, I mean, those are the two big ones. The Kuni Witch Hunters will inform the Emperor if they have evidence.
Yeah, it would at least send them here in case we fail. I'm sure they won't get here anytime soon, but...
Oh, yeah, no. We'd be fucked by then, but at least they'd know.
It's your insurance plan.
It's the... Well, if we die, at least maybe Shao-King will get redemption. Somehow, or at least a cleansing.
As the Shugenja here, Hibiki, I'm going to let you describe what it looks like and how he sends these messages through the air, through the kami, to these places.
Ooh, I would say that most likely in the various temples within each town, there are Shugenja who, of course, tend to the temple. And there are these, most likely, special wind chimes of sorts that usually pick up on the air of the kami whirling around them. And such wind chimes pick up as the Hermit sends the message for the witch hunters and Ishii on the wind. In both places, the Shugenja take time to commune with the spirit and then quickly head out of the temple to relay the message to each of the receivers.
Yeah, so he does this, and then, you guys can feel the air in the hut start to swirl around. And if you look outside, those hemlock trees are just swaying back and forth, like so much you think they're going to break. And then the hermit again goes, claps his hands, and then the air is still. And he says, "It is done."
That is it? It is that easy?
Easy. What know you of easy, Shimizu-sama? One who spends his life disciplined in most ways, who has given his soul to the blade. You know that such skill is not easy.
Aye, I suppose this is true.
In the meantime, can I interest you? And he walks over to the fire and with his bow staff removes the kettle and removes the lid, and you can smell the stew and the vegetables and stuff kind of wafting up. And there's a big back of bacon in it. No, I'm just kidding.
Perhaps we could eat for a moment, yes, but we must get back soon. Everything depends on us returning and being successful.
Oh, you will travel by night even. Then your journey must be dire indeed. But I will offer you nourishment.
Yes, a bowl of stew could not be bad. Here, try that.
Describe to me what you guys look like and what you're doing as the scene fades.
Yeah, Shimizu's looking rather uncomfortable, eating the stew with a wooden spoon, looking around the surroundings and deep nature where he is really not comfortable, just waiting to get back and get this underway.
Hidetaka is having the stew. Really enjoying it, I'm certain. And he's just kind of asking idle things. Oh, I appreciate any water that you would have, but do you have anything stronger in store? Just trying to have a little bit of spirits from the spirit.
Yeah, as the scene fades, yeah, you're sipping from a ceramic jar, and it's the most delightful stuff you've ever had. Let's see here. A little outlog.
I was muted as well. For that last bit there. Shit.
So the scene fades from the forests and it pans down back into Shao-King. All the neighborhoods. In particular, Machi-Richi. As you see emissaries and agents fan out from the castle. Fan out from the castle bearing scrolls. As they go house to house. Those NPCs aren't important, at least yet. Kind of giving these scrolls to people, and they kind of go out onto the doorsteps, and they start reading this scroll. And I'll read it. Here's what it says. Citizens of Shao-King, it is with heavy heart that I write to inform you that the Valley Rebellions have continued. Moreover, knowledge has reached Twin Peak Palace that Ikcho, our former friends to the north, is involved and has been stoking the flames of war in an attempt to wrest power from Shao-King. No doubt, the devious daimyo of Ikcho, Lord Ogata Minoru, plans to plant his own counselors in the courts of Shiro Miromoto and Shiro Kitsuki. But Shao-King has withstood storms in the past, and we will stand tall now. For safety, the front gates of our fine city have been closed. Every fighting-age samurai is to report to the nearest dojo. The mountain army of Shao-King will again march forth, and with the aid of my beloved Inogami Rin and her sons and daughters, we will find victory, and in the end, peace. May the Kami bless our courageous forces. Lord Inogami Hisashi, Daimyo of Shao-King. And we'll end it there.
Oh my god.
Dun, dun, dun.